Hey, what's going on? I'm Quis. This is the Knicks State of Mind podcast, joined as usual by my co-host, Inf.
What's going on?
And today we're going to be talking about some of the things we've seen from the team up until now. Like the last time we were on this podcast, Inf, we saw the Knicks beat the brakes off the Celtics. And since then, the team has looked pretty good, to be honest with you. The team has beaten, I got the full list here. We've beaten the Magic, we've beaten the Warriors, and then last night we lost to the Kings, unfortunately.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's still good because with the way that we were trending, I mean, we just lost 5 games in a row. So seeing us get 2 wins, especially on a back-to-back, I have nothing to complain about.
Especially on those West Coast trips, because you know how it is with those West Coast trips. You know, the Knicks notoriously don't show up whenever they head out to the West Coast. And to see them play hard against the Warriors and get the win, and also still continue to play hard against the Kings, you know, even though we lost, I still like the way we played. The team still looked, you know, they were competing out there. And you would understand why the team would be a little bit tired, seeing that they're fresh off of a back-to-back. But to be honest, the team played hard. You know, defensively, things started to go awry in the second half. But they gave their all, and you can't win every game. And it's unfortunate we lost to the Kings, but I still liked what I saw from them.
No, I mean, I agree. Like, I mean, I thought we were going to win that game. It looked winnable to me, especially in the first half of it. But you know what? Like you mentioned, like we can't win them all. But I still wanted us to win that game. I mean, there's no excuse for us losing, especially because we've shown that we can compete. Like we can. Like we're nice. We're not trash. We're not. Oh, are they good? Like we're a legitimate team. So we need to be able to just close out better because that was a winnable game. And throughout the entire game, you can see that we could have won. So
yeah, let me just go through the stats for the team from that game because I want to give a shout out to RJ, because not only in that game has RJ, you know, really shined out there on the court. In these 4 games that we're talking about, that would be the Celtics, Magic, Warriors, Kings. He's had great games. So let's focus on just what he did in the Kings, against the Kings. He was 8 of 17 from the field goal range, 2 of 2 from 3, something that I've really wanted RJ to kind of work on and be a little bit better with. I've liked what I've seen with him, both from the mid-range and, you know, from 3-point. He had a bad game against the Magic from 3, but outside of that, it's been decent. He had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and had 21 points. So RJ Barrett showed up. RJ Barrett played hard, and I've liked what I've seen from him so far. He's been getting to the basket, getting to the rim, and finishing. What about you, and what do you think about RJ's performance up to now?
I feel like he probably listened to our podcast and heard us bashing him the last time because his field goal percentage has just been crazy.
Yeah.
He's playing like none of us thought he would. Like, it's crazy. He's actually, you know, consistently hitting shots. He's making smarter plays. He's not taking as many contested shots as he was before. So obviously his percentage has improved.
He's been doing it. Before I get into RJ a little bit more, I just want to say shout out to Spaz himself. Thanks for the comments. If you're watching, make sure you smash that like button for us. It'd be greatly appreciated. And just to touch on RJ again, pause. I think RJ has worked as a guard to be a solid rebounder, and his rebounding numbers from the guard position during that winning streak we had was ridiculous. He had double-digit rebounds in 2 of those games. I think one was 10, and I think the other game was 11. So to see that level of production or rebounding ability from our shooting guard is nice. And also, he has shown, you know, times where he could be a good facilitator, and that's something I want to see from RJ a little bit more, and to develop his game, because we've seen him be able to get to the basket, and he's starting to do that more consistently. Now let's add and build to that mid-range. And also, if the defense shuts down that mid-range, shuts down his ability to get to the basket, then let's unlock another facet of his game, which would be finding an open teammate.
I mean, I listen, I agree with that. But one of the things about RJ specifically that I did want to point out is also his defense. Like, his defense has actually improved. He looked pretty decent. Like, he's actually causing an issue for whoever his matchup is. And it shows in his plus minuses. Obviously, like the last game was a bit different, but while on that win streak, his defense in particular, his on-man defense has actually been impressive. He's able to stay in front of his man, and he's able to actually box out, which is why he's getting those rebounds. So he's actually doing a lot on the defensive end.
Yeah, he's finding ways to get into the paint because, he's sharing the rock with Randall, and, Randall's going to get his buckets up, get his points up. So he's making sure he's going and attacking, or not attacking, but getting to the basket and trying to get not only defensive rebounds, but offensive rebounds as well. We've seen sometimes in that King game where he was able to get a rebound. And was it the Kings? I think it was the game before that. He was able to get an offensive rebound and nobody boxed him out, and he had an easy layup attempt. So RJ is showing me what I want to see from this team this season, and that's development. And right now I'm seeing the most development from both RJ and Mitchell Robinson. And if that's going to be the trend for the season, then I'm happy with that. There's no way I could see anybody being upset. Those are two pieces that I see as key cogs to us potentially being playoff contenders and at some point championship contenders. So I'm happy to. What you laughing for? I want to see them be championship contenders.
No, I hope.
Oh. I thought you were saying I'm wilding.
Nah.
Yeah,
I mean, wilding, but I hope. I got a lot of hope.
Those are two legit pieces that I want to see continue to develop. We have time with IQ, even though I want to see him get some more playing time. We also have more time when it comes to Obi, both players that we drafted this year. So right now, the focus should be on RJ, Mitch, and Knox, which we haven't really been seeing much from Knox. But, eventually we'll get there.
I mean, with Knox, I don't see us ever getting there. I mean, even on a win streak, he does terrible. I mean, against the Magic, he had, 2 points?
Against the Magic? Let me pull up the box score.
Against the Magic, he had 2 points. Against Golden State, which was basically like a blowout, he had 3 points. I mean, come on.
So basically, you're saying we can win without Kevin Knox.
We are winning without Kevin. I'm not saying we can't. We are. This is happening. He isn't even a part of our win streak. He's just there. It's not
come on. Kevin Knox has,
as nice as he is, he ain't doing it. He's just not.
I mean, Kevin Knox has been serviceable, but yes, there are other players that have been stealing his shine. But one thing I can say, he's been knocking down that corner three, and I'd rather Knox be highly efficient at one thing than not being able to do anything out there on the court. So to see him work on that corner three and knock it down, let's see if he can build off that. Because we saw in a couple of those games where he was able to pump fake from that corner three, and then when the defender kind of bit on the pump fake, he was able to put the ball on the ground, put the ball on the court, and try to take a mid-range jump shot. Now, I think in both of those instances, he missed, but at least you see him trying to work and expand his game. Also, just want to say salute to Robert Paul. Thank you for pulling up to the podcast. Appreciate it.
I mean, yeah, percentage-wise, when he takes an open three from the corner, he makes it. I mean, but so then maybe it's just he's not taking enough shots. I don't know, but I mean, he had 3 points one game, 2 points the other, 5 points the other. So I mean, you're gonna hit a good percentage if you're not taking as many shots, and the ones that you do take go in. So,
well, I think Walt said it in the game last night. Kevin Knox is shooting better from 3 than 2, and he's also, I think, taking more threes than 2.
Yeah, he is. He's really taking.
Yeah, I want to see him try to expand his game a little bit more. I've been saying it time and time again. Is Kevin Knox just going to be a spot-up shooter for us? Or is he actually going to be a player that's going to expand his game and be able to contribute in other ways? Kevin Knox is a tall, small forward. He can play power forward at times if we really wanted him to. There's more he could contribute than just corner threes, to be honest with you.
I mean, I agree, especially because, I mean, if they're utilizing him as a three-point shooter right now, why is he ending game with 2 points? That doesn't even make sense. If you're supposed to be just taking in threes, how you only getting 2 points a game?
He's getting Easy P is putting out some good notes. He's saying Kevin Knox started a lot of those comebacks from clutch threes, key shots. And yes, I hear you. Knox has started some of those comebacks, or he has stopped some of the droughts. But I still want to see more from Kevin Knox. We're seeing games where you see a lot of flashes from players like IQ. You're seeing flashes. Even Obi. Obi had one game where he had 12 points, 5 rebounds or something like that. And you saw some flashes. I want to see more games like that from Kevin Knox. And it doesn't seem like Tibbs is giving Knox enough minutes to really meet that threshold or hit that criteria for me. What's Knox averaging? 16 points, 16 minutes a game, 15 minutes a game? Crazy.
I mean, I would say more closer to 12. Yeah, maybe even less than that, 12, 10 to between 10 and 12 points. Because I mean,
not points, minutes per game.
Huh?
Minutes per game.
No, yeah, I mean, it's between 10 and 12 minutes a game.
Yeah, Easy P is saying Knox needs to attack the basket, and that's what I'm pretty much saying as well. Knox needs to get to the basket, or at least try to find people. There are some instances, like when I'm reviewing game film, where Knox is attacking the basket and he's finding the open man. We just don't see that with enough consistency. So we talked about Randall. I mean, not Randall. We talked about RJ. We talked about Knox. I want to talk a little bit more about Quickly, because this week, during that win streak, we saw the return of Alec Burks. And Alec Burks' return is starting to eat into IQ's minutes, in my opinion. I think IQ should still be getting the majority of the minutes, backing up Peyton at the one. And I think he should be getting more than 16, 17 minutes a game. I want to see IQ up in that 20, 22 minutes a game range. 22 minutes per game range. What about you, Inf?
I mean, no, I mean, I agree. I mean, it doesn't help Alec Burks that he had pretty much 2 bad games. But no, if anyone's going to be losing minutes, it definitely shouldn't be Quickly. I feel like Quickly, if anyone, has shown that he deserves to be on the court, he deserves to play. He keeps the offense flowing. But if this is already happening where Quickly's minutes are diminishing because Alec Burks is back, I'm just worried about what's going to happen when Austin Rivers is back.
Oh, yeah. When Austin Rivers comes back, and then you still have Frank Nitty dealing with, what is it, a knee injury?
I don't know. His leg is broken or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very, very hard backcourt to get minutes in right now. And the crazy part to me is, coming into this season, a lot of people were saying we didn't have any guards in the backcourt, and now it seems like we have too many, and everybody's not going to be able to get minutes. So I'm not sure what Tibbs is going to do, but I know if I was the coach, I'm making sure that IQ is getting a lot of minutes to see if he could potentially hold down that point guard position, even though I think, like most people say, he's better off ball. But let's give him the opportunity to see what he can do. And I think we all agree Elfrid Payton does not have a long-term future with this team. So why are we continuing to throw him out there for 27 to 32 some odd minutes a night? Let's divvy up those minutes to players that we want potentially in our future.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense to me. And I feel like that's the reason why it seems like we have too many guards. It's strictly because Elfrid Payton's playing 31 minutes a game. Why is he playing 31 minutes a game, doing nothing, shooting 3 for 12? Even when he has good games, I hate it. He just doesn't need to be out there. But
one of those games, I think he went 4 for 7 or something like that.
Against Sacramento, he was 3 for 12. Against Golden State, he was 5 for 11, and he played almost 40 minutes. And against the Magic, 6 for 11. So he had a good game against the Magic.
Okay.
12 points. But still, he doesn't need to be out there. He's not a part of our core. He's not a part of what we're trying to build. He's off contract after the season. He's not somebody I would look to retain if I were the Knicks. Unlike Alec Burks, I would try to keep him for next season as well, because he's shown that he's just coming off injury, so obviously his first 2 games aren't that good, but he's shown consistency in the games prior to his injury. So it'll make sense.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Burks. Well, like you said, Burks is a player I would, keep. I think I like the way he's able to break some of our slumps. That's one thing I like about Burks. When we're having trouble getting a good shot, at least if we give Alec Burks, the ball, we're getting a decent enough shot. It's not always going to go down, but he's going to find a shot for himself. Even though, let me take that back, because there were a couple times during that Kings game and Burks was taking some shots, and I was like, Burks, you wilding a little bit. I know this is your first couple games back, and you might be a little antsy, but, woosah, my brother, woosah. But other than that, for the most part, Burks has been pretty decent. He was our second leading scorer before he went out. If he can come back and play to even half of that, where he's averaging 10, 12, 13 points a game, I think that's solid. And, yeah, I would be okay with bringing him back, but at the trade deadline, he might be one of those pieces that kind of brings back a decent enough haul for it to make sense to move on from him. So I wouldn't be too tied to him, but I also would be open to surveying, the NBA and seeing who might want him.
No, yeah. I mean, and it kills me knowing that Peyton has a no trade clause on his contract, because I would package both of them together if we had to, just to free up space. Mm-hmm. And one of the comments, Robert Parr, he was like, how can Eford teach the young guards when he is just a negative? Yeah, he shows some good signs here and there, but come on, he got to step up or just step. Exactly. I mean, honestly, he's clearly not the point guard that needs to be teaching quickly, because he can't shoot. So how can he teach quickly who can shoot how to get in certain positions to get a much more efficient shot and things like that? So the development that quickly needs is not something that Peyton as a guard can give him. So like, he's not the guard that I would choose to help develop the young core in any way. What about you?
Yo, I got a guest coming in, Naj from the Facebook group that Inf and I are in. Yo, what's good, bro?
Yo, what's good, bro? I think my connection kind of messed up. Yo, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, what's good though, bro? Fucking my bad, bro. I'm on my way home from work. How y'all doing?
We good. We good. How's everything with you?
I'm good, bro. Can't complain, man. I'm awake. I'm alive. It is what it is. You feel me? The Knicks is 8-9. Last year we're 0-9, so we celebrating that. You feel me?
Definitely. That. I wish the Kings would have won. That way you could have pulled up and we could have been talking about a much more joyful game. But right now we're talking about the
word, bro. That's fucking. It happens, bro. I mean, I don't even want to talk about that game because that doesn't define our season as a whole. You know what I mean? I
Definitely.
Feel like
it's one of those games you lose eventually.
We just beat the Warriors too, bro. That's on the banners right now. We beat the Warriors, bro. So like, technically we won up on the Lakers, bro. Yeah, that's the delusional fan in me. We won up on the Lakers, so okay.
The irony is we're all in that Facebook group, delusional fans.
Yeah. What I was gonna say though, but it's very refreshing being a Knicks fan right now. Like, all jokes aside, like, for 6 years, bro, we were ass, and right now we got a whole different culture behind us right now, where it's like we came to this summer with no expectations. We had Julius Randle doing spin move turnovers.
Oh,
right now, homeboys are. You feel me? You hear me?
He might be an all-star, but I hope he's an all-star. It's been a while since we had one of those.
I think he's gonna be an all-star, bro, because I already bought his jersey and I don't want to embarrass myself, so he got to be an all-star. So I think he's an all-star. You feel me? And I just like the direction they're going, bro. You know what I mean? Like, we still under Dolan, and nobody really had hope in New York, bro. And right now we got a little bit of hope. You feel me? We got rid of KP, the toxicness in KP. We got rid of Moody and all these bullshit players, bro. And we got a decent squad, bro. And these guys are not superstars, bro. They playing like a team right now, and that shit is beautiful, bro. All jokes aside, that's just how I feel about it. You feel me?
Yeah. Especially during this little 3-1 stretch we've been on. I like how RJ been balling. You know, you're talking about Randall, but RJ has been doing his thing.
RJ been balling as well. You know, that's that's good you said that because I feel like RJ doesn't know his role yet. You know, he doesn't know if he wants to play off the ball, if he's better with the ball in his hand. But I'm seeing him do a little bit of both. You know, and
Exactly.
I think that's cool. But I think he's better with the ball in his hands, and I don't think he's a true point guard right now. But
well, RJ not really going to be out here playing point guard. RJ going to play off ball at the 2, and he going to slash. What I like is the fact that not only is he slashing and getting to the basket, he's doing other things out there. One of the games, he had 11, 10 rebounds. And then even his assist number's been pretty decent. I got the numbers right here. Against the Warriors, he had 5 assists, 4 assists against the Maverick, and then he had 3 assists apiece against the Celtics and the Kings. So he's out here balling, and he's affecting the game in multiple facets of basketball. So I like what he's doing out here. Yeah. He's going to be the star I want to really take over and hold down the team.
I think he's a future. I don't think he's a star right now. I think he's future. I think right now the main focus is definitely
still Randall.
You know,
but we've been seeing RJ kind of step his game up as Randall kind of has, kind of flattened out his level of play.
And I also think it's fatigue too. I think they definitely need to learn how to as a coach, Tibbs is doing well, but he needs to learn how to manage minutes and shit like that too. Like these homeboys,
his rotations,
40-minute game, which is, I mean, they doing well. You know, sometimes if the shoe fits, wear it, and that's cool. But it's gonna, teams are gonna pick that apart, especially if you go to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like it's stuff like that they're gonna tear apart. But Quickly is good too. I think Quickly soon start. You know, no knock to Payne. I think he's definitely gonna.
Definitely a knock to Payton. Payton is trash. He needs to sit at the end of the bench. IQ need to get all the minutes. Well, I'm exaggerating. IQ need to get a nice bulk of the minutes, and then we can try other players at point guard.
I can't say that.
Be DSJ or Frank.
I feel like Payne, he shows flashes of him being decent, but for the most part, he is kind of trash. But he's been playing solid, but he's not starting solid. You know what I mean? I feel like he's there for seniority, because he's the senior in high school. He get the most minutes, but right now, Quickly gonna take that shit away. But then we still I feel like we just don't know how to use our players yet, but we still doing good. But once we get in the groove of this guy's meant to be here, and because I think Austin Rivers and Quickly is a good combo, bro. And I don't want to Quickly to start and then fucking Austin Rivers and they don't mesh well.
They don't vibe.
It's a lot of stuff that we got to figure out, bro.
But Payton don't really vibe with anybody on the team other than Randall, so you're gonna have that issue wherever you put Payton.
I think Payne, Randall, and Mitch, those three, they play well together. But then when you put anybody else on the floor, Payne don't know what to do. He don't know how to be a point guard. I feel like that's something that he got to work on. I'm just happy that we getting wins out of him. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't understand why they kept him over the summer. But shit, maybe we didn't have no other opportunity, no other choice. But fuck it, bro. But
they was like, you know what? We don't know what's gonna happen, so let's give Payton somebody that we already know. We already know what he can and can't do. Let's bring him in, and then let's have Tibbs run everything through Payton and Randall because they already got a connection.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that.
Payton out of here this year.
So you think so?
Definitely.
I don't even know why I even doubted that.
He got the no trade clause, but next offseason it's not like we're gonna bring him back. And you bought that jersey. We may not have Randall back.
But we gonna get an all-star to Randall. You gotta hit me out. We gonna get an all-star to Randall. That's why I bought that jersey. You feel me? Because it's been a while since we got an all-star. It was a sale, bro.
You gonna frame it in the crib?
I got it for $27.
Oh, you can't beat that, though. You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
That's you.
I was like, fuck that, bro. It's the last year joint too. It's not this year joint. It's last year joint. They got a fucking fire hydrant on it, bro. I don't know what the fuck that come from. It's like the statement jersey. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, bro. Definitely, bro. Yo, I'm gonna try to start checking into this more often, bro. It's just the timing, bro. Right now I'm on the highway on my way home trying to get something to eat and shit. I'm gonna definitely be more active in these shots, bro.
Definitely. Anybody from that Facebook group, you got an open invite to pull up.
All right, bro. I appreciate y'all, bro. Have a good one.
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your night. Get home safely.
You too.
Yeah, that was Naj from one of our Facebook groups that Inf and I are in. It's not too many Knicks fans. It might be 5 of us. So we're always in there trying to defend the Knicks. But, you know, a lot of them are dumb. No disrespect to them. So it's like talking to a brick wall. So I said, you know what? Let me come to YouTube. People are more reasonable here. Let's have this conversation here. So, and what did you think about what Naj was saying? He was pretty much saying the same thing we were saying, that Peyton got to go.
Yep.
He's a bigger fan of Randle than I am, but, you know, more power to him.
Yeah, I mean, and then one thing he said I wasn't sure about. He was like that Peyton plays better with Randle and Mitch on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I don't see it. Like, I don't see him ever assisting to Mitch or anything like that.
He has some alley-oops to Mitch here and there.
Nah, he has tunnel vision to Randle. Like, he does, if Randle and him are on the court together, he doesn't even try to get the team into an offense. He just, where's Randle? I need to give him the ball. And then he just gives Randle the ball and gets out the way. That's like what are you doing?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But, you know, I don't get too upset with Peyton anymore because I think the fan base as a whole understands that Peyton will not be here any further outside of this year. So when I try to analyze the game, I kind of like just bleep out Peyton and I try to focus on more so on the core, see what they're doing. Because a lot of times, even when they do stuff to get Peyton open, it's like a wide open three that he breaks. So it's like, dang, you know, this was a good play. Everybody did great. I should put this on one of my film studies or film sessions. And I'm like, oh, man, but it's too many misses because Peyton is out here with the – because when you review the starting lineup, it's pretty much going to be a bucket by RJ, bucket by Randle, or a brick by Peyton. And then you sprinkle in, you know, an alley-oop from Mitch here and there. But too many times Peyton is on the bad end of a good play. And, you know, that's something that I don't want to continue seeing. So I want to see IQ more so as a starter come in and do his thing. And Austin Rivers being hurt, I think, hurts us as well because now we're going to have to rely a little bit more on, you know, Alfred, even though Rivers didn't really get 2 minutes at point guard. I think he got majority of his time at the two.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. And then Robert Parr said, I think Peyton will want to go home and play New Orleans. Maybe we can see what they have to offer.
See, again, that's a nice little segue, too, from Robert Parr, because I didn't know Peyton was from New Orleans. I knew Mitch was from New Orleans, but I didn't really get into Peyton's backstory like that to find out where he was from. And it seems like there is another player in New Orleans that might be, you know, moved. So who knows? Maybe we can offer Alfred Peyton and, you know, New Orleans being a destination that he's from, maybe he could be included in a Lonzo Ball type trade because they're saying Lonzo Ball has already been linked to the Knicks. And the fact that Robert Parr brings up that New Orleans connection, could that be something the Pelicans could look to or look towards doing? Getting Peyton, getting maybe a second round pick because that's the most I'm trying to give up. And maybe a DSJ or a Frank that's a reclamation project that can still go out there, play some defense and play maybe off ball and, you know, some backup point guard minutes. What do you think, Inf?
No, I mean, I feel like that would be dope. The only issue is that no trade clause. Because, like, if I'm Peyton, even if I'm from New Orleans, am I really going to give up a team where I get to at least play 30, 35 minutes a game and go to a team that's definitely better, but that I don't know where I'm going to stand. Also, a team that I've already played for. I mean, because remember, he was already on New Orleans when he was playing with Julius Randle. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I hope, like, if he wants to go there, let him. But I don't see him making that decision and agreeing to go for a potentially smaller role.
So, that is true. But if you were to try to bring in another point guard to kind of help this team out, that could be here long term. I think Lonzo fits into that category. The question is, what are the Knicks going to have to give up in order to bring him in? That's the big question to me because I'm okay with Lonzo coming in and being on this team and being one of the building blocks. It's just, what is it going to cost us? Because Lonzo himself has not looked great this year.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like his trade value isn't high. He's never done much. He's just he was a high draft pick, but I mean, look at Fultz. What did they get when they traded for Fultz? They got like a first round pick, and that was it. So I feel like if we can package like Peyton, like Ntilikina or something, and a second round pick, like I feel like that's even. You know, that's enough where Pelicans, they wouldn't be losing because they'd have Peyton and Frank or whoever, and they'd also get a future pick just for us being nice. But if they're talking like one of our first round picks for Lonzo, I'm like, no, that's it's not worth it because we're not in a desperate need for a guard. We're just in a desperate need to get rid of Peyton.
Me, because I posted a video talking about the Lonzo trade rumors, and I didn't even include Alfred in my trade. I gave him Frank, DSJ in a second because at least New Orleans, they'd be getting Frank Nitty, a player that they can put out there opposite of who they got over there. They got Nikhil Alexander. They have Kira, but I don't think Kira's playing too much. And they have what, Bledsoe? Yeah, they got Bledsoe from the Bucks. So you can put Frank Nitty out there for defensive purposes. And if they want a reclamation project like DSJ, then they can have DSJ too, and then a second. But to me, that's the most I'm giving up for Lonzo. Lonzo, I think, is just more is Alfred Payton with more pace. They're both not going to be able to shoot the rock. Lonzo kind of had me. He swindled me last year with his performance. I think he shot almost 38% from three last year, and then this year he's shooting under 30%, if I'm not mistaken, or right around there. So
no, he dropped drastically, and I don't know why. I mean, it could be the fact that there's no more Drew Holiday to help him get open, or it could be the change in offensive now since they're focusing solely on like Brandon Ingram and Zion. I don't know what it is. All I know is that his overall performance is terrible right now, so that should coincide with his value.
Yeah, Lonzo's always been more so like a fringe player. They don't really run anything through him. So I would think he'd be able to adjust to that, but it doesn't look too great so far. And with this team, I think Lonzo could contribute, but like I said, he's just going to be an Alfred Payton with an increase in his pace. And I know he could help Mitch get a lot more buckets, a lot more baskets. Because if you look at Mitch exclusively at this point scores off of alley-oops and putbacks. I don't even see him run pick and roll where they give him a bounce pass and he finishes. If the ball has to be in the air and he has to put it through the basket. So if we have a Lonzo Ball to put him in a lot more of those situations, then okay, I can see why we can go out and bring him in, but not if it's going to cost us anything of value. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be it's going to be a mid-second round pick because I think the Knicks are going to be good enough to not be a high lottery team. So I'm thinking mid-second round pick, Frank Nitty, DSJ. Take it or leave it.
No, and we got some comments from, let me see, UBG saying that there are better guards in the draft. I mean, but like you just said, the draft is one thing that's completely unpredictable. You can plan to draft any guard and they will get picking. They will get picked before you, especially because we don't look like we're going to be a lottery team this season anyway. But he said there's better guards in the draft than Lonzo. He's going to be a more expensive Peyton, not worth it. I feel like the deal he's on right now is actually pretty reasonable.
I think that mentioned what he's going to be when you have to re-sign him this offseason.
Man, listen, if he wants max money, I mean, because what we want to give up is stuff that's not even worth that much anyway. But I don't think that he's the same as Peyton. I feel like what Peyton does is have tunnel vision for strictly Julius Randle, whereas Lonzo would be coming into a new system and be able to just, all right, who do I need to give the ball to? Who's in a position to get the ball? Like he'll be able to run full point guard, which he can't do on his current team right now because on his current team, he has Brandon Ingram who demands the ball. And then you got Zion who you have to give at least, 12, 13 shots to every game. So coming into a system where it's not as strict offensively, it probably benefit his game.
Yeah, it would benefit his game. And the chat is saying it's not worth it to trade Lonzo. And I understand if you feel that way, but when I look at a Lonzo trade, I look at it as trading pieces that really have no long-term future. I'm trading Frank Nitty, a player that is on an expiring deal. I'm trading DSJ, a player that's on an expiring deal. And I'm trading a second-round pick in a draft where we already have 2 firsts. So if you look at that package to take a flyer on Lonzo Ball, that's something I'd be open to doing. Now, I've seen other trades out there where they're saying they could potentially package Kevin Knox. Dallas Mavericks first. Like that, I would never do. I would say people are out of their mind because when you look at doing something like that, you're looking at Lonzo Ball and his agency or whoever's representing him, looking at the Knicks and be like, okay, you leveraged all this to bring us in. Now you got to pay us what we want, basically. But if you're only giving up players that you weren't going to have in the offseason anyway, then, you can look at Lonzo and you can say, okay, shop around the NBA, see what people are willing to offer you. And then if we want to, we'll match it. And if not, then you can go about your business. Because at the end of the day, you gave away pieces that weren't going to be part of your long-term future outside of that second-round pick. But we've already seen the Knicks and this regime hit on a mid to late first-round pick. So I'm fine if we already have that Dallas pick and we have our own pick. That would be the only way I would look into doing this trade. I wouldn't try to give up anything that I think we could benefit from in the long term.
No, I mean, I that's a situation that I completely agree with. I'm reading some of the comments. Let me see. And they're saying like Lonzo equates to second round talent. Easy P was like Lonzo could help Mitch, but we don't want another erratic jump shooter. I mean, I need to look at the percentages, but I would assume that Lonzo is still shooting better than Peyton, at least. And then Andrew, I'm not going to pronounce this last name, but said Lonzo's worth a shot at for Eford Payton and DSJ. Exactly. But he said, we don't need LeVar drama, though. He already barking at Charlotte's coach for not starting LaMelo. I mean, but you saw what Charlotte's coach said. I mean, he's not going to start LaMelo. Like, it doesn't matter if LeVar barks or not. He don't get what he wants. So, especially with New York, I know Tibbs, he ain't going to play that. He don't care if LeVar is yelling, screaming, crying. He's going to play what he wants to play. But no, if we can get a reasonable deal for Lonzo, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, I was looking. They were talking about Andrew was talking about LeVar. LeVar's already out here wilding.
Wow, what he did?
This dude LeVar was talking about his sons are not role players. His sons are starters. And I guess that was more so a line about LaMelo. So imagine what LeVar would do if Lonzo was in New York. Oh man. Oh, the amount of media he'd bring and negative attention. That's a Andrew, that's a good point. Because LeVar is out here wilding a lot of times. So I would be hesitant strictly off the fact that he's out here bugging. But, I think talent-wise and what we have as a team, I think Lonzo could be beneficial. But it would have to be the right deal at the right price.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anything more than a second round pick, it should be quiet for. Let me see. And then Samson, he was like Lonzo shooting more than Peyton and is playing a combo guard alongside Bledsoe, so his shooting numbers are whack, but he's not playing his own position. I mean, true, because Lonzo isn't a two guard, and like he came out of college strictly as a point guard. He's known for being able to see the court and actually get people in the right position and actually assist. So a true point guard, Samson said.
Yeah, but if we move Lonzo from off ball to on ball, I don't know if that necessarily alleviates all his shooting woes. Because that last season when he shot 38%, that was an anomaly. If you compare it to the other seasons he's been in the league. So is he legitimately a 38% three-point shooter? I'm not sure.
No, I doubt it.
I doubt it. But if we bring him in as the Knicks point guard, are we going to see an automatic increase in those shooting percentages? I'm not sure.
I mean, maybe not for him, but maybe we'll see other players getting more touches. Like maybe you'll start to see Kevin Knox taking more shots a game. You'll see Mitch, who's already like his percentages are usually like 75 to 100. Like he does what he needs to. So just imagine having a point guard like Lonzo who genuinely knows how to throw lobs, how to get big men involved. Like you're going to see Mitch's improvement. You're just going to see a lot more ball movement and a lot more touches, unlike Peyton, who has tunnel vision for one player, who doesn't really, he doesn't create offense the way Lonzo would, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, Sampson is saying Lonzo was an upgrade from Peyton, and I would say that's a Snapple fact. He definitely is an upgrade from Peyton. It's just, well, it's not just anything. I would prefer Lonzo over Peyton. It's just, I keep saying it's just. I'm like on repeat. It's just the assets we'd have to give up for Lonzo. I just can't see myself doing it, because I would personally want to give up just DSJ, Frank Nitty, and a second, but I don't see the Pelicans accepting that. Now, me being King Swindler, I would prefer that to be the package, but you think the Pelicans are going to say yes to that? DSJ, Frank Nitty, in a second?
I mean, it's probably not. Probably, but only because I'm sure there's going to be that one team that's like, oh, no, we'll give you 2 first-round picks for him. Like, there's always that one team that wants to be extra. Like, it'll probably be Brooklyn. Like, oh, we still need more help. You know what? We will give you every pick that we get in the year 2027.
They don't have any more picks. Their farm system is barren.
And like, you would think that they would have learned with the Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Jason Terry deal that they made before, where they gave up their whole future for a win now. But no, they back in the situation.
The situation a little bit different, seeing that Harden, KD, and Kyrie and them are still in their prime. And I mean, this time they gave up everything for one player, because they already had the other two. Like they gave up everything for the one.
They didn't, I don't know. They wild. Let me see. But both UBG and Raphael don't think Lonzo would be a good fit. They both believe that we need a point guard who could shoot the 3. Let's move for Devontae Graham. My only thing is
Devontae Graham.
Huh?
I like Devontae Graham, but he has his faults as well. He has his deficiencies. I don't see him more so as a legit playmaker. I mean, he has the ability to be a playmaker, but I like him more so in what we may end up doing with IQ, playing him more so off ball and allowing him to attack.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, though. I feel like we already have Quickly, who's basically a point guard who could hit the 3. So having Lonzo and Quickly on the court together, like, you just open everything up, because wherever Quickly is at, the defense has to focus on, and then Lonzo could still get everyone else involved. So Quickly doesn't have to be the main focus. Like, he doesn't have to have the ball with him, causing guards to double him and triple him, I think that they would actually be able to play together.
Yeah, I would like that too. The way you would set that lineup up with, I would say you'd have IQ, Lonzo, and also RJ, even though some people say RJ can't really play the 3. I think if you look at it statistically, I think RJ's played somewhere between like 25-30% of his minutes at the 3. So he can definitely play the 3 in some lineups, some rotations. So if you have that lineup right there, I think it would be perfect.
Absolutely. And Samson is saying Lonzo does fit into our system because we're a defensive team, which is Lonzo's strong suit. Lonzo and Quickly are going to make us move so fast, which is what we need. Definitely they'll up the tempo. And Samson also pointed out something that I've noticed watching these last 3 games. We're a defensive team, but for some reason we have no transition offense, which we don't.
I think we had the last, I forgot what game it was. We had like 12 or 16 points in transition.
The only time. Yeah. We're the number 1 defense in the league. Like,
yeah, we're terrible. We're terrible in those situations, which is ironic because I think IQ, Obi, Knox, and them boys, I think they flourish in those situations. So it's weird to see that we're not really getting a lot. But if we were to bring in Lonzo, you would definitely see an uptick. Definitely see an uptick.
Yeah. And just imagine, I didn't even think about that, but Lonzo playing with Obi. Like, yeah, he'll get Obi into a lot of great positions.
Yeah. Which one, the alley-oop between IQ and Obi?
Nah, the bounce pass that led to Obi dunking on, it was the Golden State game.
Yeah. Oh, the pick and roll?
Yeah, he dunked on Draymond, right?
Nah, Draymond was out that game by that time. He didn't really dunk on anybody, but he had a
flurry. He dunked on. The guy, he tried to move out the way, but that dude got dunked on. But that small clip reminded me of Amari. I'm like, yo, that was a start of my dunk. That was just a.
Yeah, we could talk about Obi. Obi's has his moments. I think I got Obi's stats too. Obi, his numbers have kind of dipped as well over the last 2 I think against the Celtics, he went 5 for 8, 2 of 4 from 3, 5 rebounds. He had 12 points, 1 block, and 1 steal. Then against the Magic, he wasn't that great. I think 1 for 3, 0 for 2, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 2 points. And I think in that Magic game, that 1 bucket was that nice alley-oop IQ set him up with. I think that was a beautiful pass. He threw me off. He shocked me because I'm like, wow, everybody's looking at IQ when he throws this alley-oop. That's going to be, like, if it was 2K, they would have picked that right out the air. But no, this is real life, bro. You got to be prepared. And I think it was Vucevic was just sitting in the paint, just he must have had his popcorn out, thought he was watching a movie. Well, he's gonna be in a movie right now. He's gonna be in a trailer because that alley-oop was fire. That was dope. I was like, yo, we haven't seen too much of this.
See, and that's the thing. That's what Peyton doesn't do. Peyton doesn't get the team involved. Because why is it that when Obi's on the court with Peyton, Obi's just not doing much? He has to create his own shot for himself. Or he has to stand at 3 and shoot a 3. Whereas when he's playing with Quickly, he's able to stand in the paint. He knows, all right, Quickly's on the court. He's going to pass it to me if I'm in this position. Oh, Quickly's going this way. Let me adjust. Like he knows if he moves around the right way, Quickly will find him, as opposed to a point guard like Peyton who isn't getting his team involved, which slows everything up.
Yeah, Simpson is saying we need to move faster, change the lineup. I agree. We definitely need to be faster and play some of these young guys more. IQ, Obi. Like coming into the season, yeah, I wasn't big on Randall, but that was because I didn't know Randall was going to come here and play like an all-star to start the season. So now that Randall is playing like an all-star, we got to switch it up now. So Obi isn't going to be focused or we're not going to be playing through Obi in the ways that I thought we would. So now, you know, I would have liked us to play more up-tempo with Obi and them. But with Randall as our star player, he likes the pace a little slower. He doesn't want to run up and down the court all day. And he has his buddy in Peyton. So I don't know if we're going to change that tempo, that style of play, even though I think it would benefit the team. It's just Tibbs is stuck in his ways and Randall and Peyton are stuck in theirs.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things Samson pointed out is that in the Sacramento game, RJ was playing ball handler for about a 2-minute stretch, and the offense was moving well. The offense was flowing, and then Peyton gets the ball back, and it goes downhill. Mm-hmm. He only looks for Julius. So, God forbid, if Julius is having a bad game, that's an automatic loss if Peyton and Julius are playing 30 minutes because they're the only two getting touches, making terrible shots, like taking terrible shots, not making them. And it's like, I don't understand at this point, why doesn't Tibbs understand that? Like, why does he not watch film? Does he not see how stagnant the offense gets when Peyton is running it?
I think he's fine with that as long as in the opposite end, he's still getting the defensive intensity that he needs. And he expects that at some point the offense is going to find its way. So that's what I think he believes when he's sitting there, you know, watching film. And he has made some adjustments. Like in the beginning of the season, he was running Elfrid Payton through pick and rolls, like more so like at the elbow, close to the free throw line. And that was giving Payton some success because that Payton was able to drop in a couple floaters right there at the free throw line and get himself started. I think that was the game Payton went for like 22, 23 points. So Tibbs has made some adjustments here and there, but I mean, he doesn't make them in-game, I don't think, or he doesn't make too many in-game adjustments because time and time again, we see us coming out the second half flat. And that's what happened in the Sacramento game.
Yeah, the only in-game adjustments he makes is if one of the rookies messes up and he just takes them out. I'm like, do that with Peyton. He missed 3 shots back to back to back off one possession that we was getting offensive rebounds on. Take him out. He's cold. Like,
take him out.
I hate it.
To the gulag.
Exactly. Samson said, as much as Tibbs is here is to blame for playing Peyton, I'm gonna put fault on assistant coaches for not getting in Tibbs' ear and telling him the adjustments that I needed. Facts. It's the whole coaching staff that needs to understand. Listen, we're in a good position to actually win these games, but here's the adjustments we need to make. Like, there's no reason Peyton could constantly, well, not during Orlando or Golden State, but during most of our losses and even some of our wins, Peyton has a negative plus minus.
Yeah,
why?
Yeah.
So much minutes. Even in wins, he has a negative plus minus. That's not defense.
If you look at last game, I think the bench, even though when you were watching the game, it didn't look like the bench was playing that well, but they still ended up with a positive plus and minus than the starters. all had like -10, -15 plus minuses. But we're speaking about Obi, and one thing I think Obi needs to work on definitely is putting people in the post. Cause it was funny because they started talking about his his calves and stuff and his lower body. I'm like, all right, we don't need all that. You don't need to be telling us he got a little lower body. I'm good on that information. I just see he lacks the strength to post up. I don't need the anatomy or physiology. Just let me know he lacks the strength to post up, and that's something we've seen time and time again. He's getting these mismatches, and he's not throwing these guards and smaller forwards into the post, and that's a little bit troubling. Especially when we're watching a game where a player that a lot of people said we should have drafted, which would be Haliburton, is out there looking like he got the goods, man. Haliburton was out there looking good. And Obi was looking, all right. But going into the draft, a lot of pundits or critics were saying that Obi was the most NBA ready in the draft. And then I'm looking at this because I'm not that heavily involved in the college basketball, so I kind of relied on their opinions and the film I saw. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, NBA ready? Haliburton looks more NBA ready than Toby. Why I call him Toby? Obi looks. And Haliburton was out there wilding. He had like, 4 points? Not 4 points. 4 blocks, 12 points. What was it? Like 4 or 5 assists? He had a lot of turnovers, too. I think he had like 3 turnovers. But he was out there looking good.
No, he was. I mean, but that's every year. Every year we see someone we should have drafted that we didn't. It happens. I mean, I can't be mad at what we didn't do.
Yeah, I'm not mad about us drafting Obi. I'm just saying, like, because I do realistic rebuilds. What happened?
No, H, he just said Obi was 22, dominating 18-year-olds. So no wonder he was killing.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. He was out there. He was old as hell out there killing.
Oh, yeah,
but you would think he'd come in and be a little bit better. The thing I just see where Haliburton is, I do realistic rebuilds here on the channel, and a couple of them, I had Haliburton on the team because I liked what I saw from Haliburton, being able to he has a quirky shooting form, but he was able to drop him. He hit a clutch one on our head, and I think, what was it, the fourth quarter? It's a weird shooting form, but he gets it to go in, and I like what he can do as a passer, and I like that he's good defensively. So the fact that I know we brought in Tibbs, and the fact that Haliburton, I was on the Knicks at Night podcast, and the host, Freezy, he was asking what's Tibbs's prototypical point guard, and if you were to make a prototypical point guard, I think Haliburton kind of fits into that mold. Being, I think he's like 6'4", 6'5", got decent size, he's got great court vision, ability to stretch the court, and he's a good defender. So, Haliburton was a player I had in a lot of my rebuilds. So to see him, or to see us go into Sacramento, and for him to have a pretty good game against us, it kind of makes me wonder, did we make the right move bringing in Obi?
Well, let me see. Who was it that said it? Samson, because this is my thought when you was talking, and Samson said it. He was like, if we would have drafted Haliburton, we wouldn't have gotten IQ.
Yeah, I guess, but would you say? But who would we end up picking at 23 or 25? Would we be able to find a wing or another guard that could have fit the team? Because I don't see why you couldn't have Haliburton and IQ if you like the both of them.
No, just they probably, like, if we would have already drafted a point guard, I don't think they would have gone with another guard, especially after all the guards we already have.
Yeah, but we don't necessarily have quality guards out for, like, when it comes to the young guards.
I mean, in our minds we don't, but to them, clearly we do. To them, Aiton is a quality starting point guard. So I'm telling you, like, we would have, and also Austin Rivers, who they signed, like. So no, I think.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They probably would have went with a forward because we would have had to replace Obi on the depth chart. I mean, we did draft the center. We just ended up trading him. Yeah, he had a funky name.
Yeah.
But honestly, there were other players late in the second round that we could have picked up that could have been shooters. I think Bane was still available. Who else was available later on that we could have picked up to fill out other positions on the team?
I have no idea. I mean, like you, I don't pay that much attention to college basketball until it gets closer to draft time.
Yeah, and the draft is over.
Exactly.
But I mean, yeah, he's right. We probably wouldn't have went with IQ, but I still think the Knicks, based on what they did in this draft, they would have found a quality pick at 23, 25, whenever we decided to draft. Because then you can also say, do we trade? Do we make moves? So yeah, I mean, in hindsight, you know, we don't know what they would have done, but I still think I liked Haliburton.
Not yet, but like I said, like I'm actually a fan of Quickly. I feel like he has a pretty decent ceiling, so I'm good with that. I'm good.
So no reservations about picking Obi over Haliburton, even though Haliburton just looked great.
No, only because
nothing but Knicks agrees with you, Inf. He said the same thing. It's probably true. You draft Haliburton, you don't get IQ.
Exactly.
Shout out to Nothing But Knicks for pulling up to the podcast. Appreciate the support.
And I feel like the only thing with Obi is that he's just not getting burned. Like, I feel like we haven't seen enough of him to know what he's genuinely capable of. Now, he needs to have a game where he plays like 25 minutes at least, where he's getting consistent touches. Like, he needs to be playing those 25 minutes with Quickly, with a potential Lonzo Ball, like someone who's actually going to look for Obi. And then let me see. All right, Obi got 10 shots this game. He only made one. All right, you know what? Maybe he ain't it. Or he gets 10 shots. He, in good positions, he makes 8 of them. He's starting to kill. His offense is full, you know? So I feel like until I see Obi get genuine, consistent minutes where I can actually gauge how he genuinely plays, I'm okay with the pick for now. I mean, all these other players, they're in systems that are designed for them because those teams know what they're doing. Right now, we got Tibbs, who is wanting to win games, and I mean, he's doing it. I'm not mad at Tibbs because chances are, if we still had David Fizdale or whatever, our players would probably be developing, but we wouldn't be winning any games. So
yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the way they use Obi out there. You see Obi kind of floating out there trying to be catch and shoot and things. I like when Obi attacks the basket, whether that be pick and roll or just get him cut into the basket.
Yeah,
because that's where you really see that explosion and that athleticism.
Yep. See, just imagine if we had Steve Nash and Amari coaching Quickly and freaking Obi. Like, that'd be lit. Not as our head coaches, but as a part of the coaching staff.
Yeah. Also, Steve Nash is RJ's godfather too, right?
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. They made a big deal about that during the Nets game. Yeah.
Did we beat? No, we lost to the Nets, right?
No, we lost.
Trash.
With half a team too. That was crazy. We lose to them, and then after that we rip off a run of wins. I was like, that's kind of weird. We lose to a team that doesn't have anybody but KD, and I guess that just shows you the kind of player KD is. Yeah, right.
Word, because they come back and they're looking bad. Like, they're looking real.
I mean, but I don't think that got much to do with KD, to be honest with you. There's other external forces at work there.
It's also KD, just because it's not like he's having bad games. He's having good games. He's clearly just
But remember, after they beat us, I think they won the next 2 or the next one with Harden, and then they didn't start losing again until the external force came in and kind of threw off they synergy.
I don't think they won with Harden yet.
Nah, they beat us. Then they were like 2-0 with Harden and KD, and then when the external force came back, they've been 0-2.
You won this external force. Yo, and the fact that they 0-2 to the same team, because normally, you lose to the Cavs. You know what? Let's watch some film, and we're gonna come in, we're gonna kill them. Oh, KD ain't playing, so you know what? It's fine. Like, this is about Kyrie and Harden. Lost again. Like, how your main two players, with KD sitting out, clearly Kyrie and Harden is the main 2 players. Your main 2 players get killed by their starting point guard. Like, what? 2 games in a row?
Yeah. Sexton out there. He's out there wilding.
He's
out there wilding.
But then now people are trying to say, "Oh, I would take Colin Sexton over Trae Young," and stuff. I'm like, "Yo,
you saw that group, bro? The Facebook group is bugging. They are so caught up in the moment.
Like never
anything happens.
a good game without then saying, "Oh, you know what? I would take them over this person." Like, no, you wouldn't. If I asked you that last week, oh, who would you have, Trae Young or Kyle? You would have said Trae. Every single person there would have said Trae. But now
just to clue the chat in, because they're not in the Facebook group with us. So we're in a Facebook group, like the same group that Naj was in when he pulled up, and they were having a debate. All of a sudden, now that Colin Sexton beat the brakes off the Nets, that they would rather have Colin Sexton over Trae Young. Who were the other two players?
I don't remember. But
once they said Trae Young, I was like, yeah, you guys are out of control. I'm like, Colin Sexton is a fine young point guard, and he's a good defender, and he's had a good start to the season or whatnot. But I'm not picking him over Trae Young. They were out there wilding.
Yeah, like they never let people have a good game without them all of a sudden saying, oh, they're better than this person or that person.
Also, Andrew's giving us an update to the Brooklyn-Miami game. Brooklyn's up 66. Miami has 56 at halftime.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Samson said we were going to trade for Sexton and then sign Christian Wood. I like Christian Wood. I think in that realistic rebuild, what I did is I brought in Haliburton and I also signed Christian Wood. Of course, in this one, I think I traded Julius Randle, but I don't remember who I traded him for. I traded Julius Randle in every single realistic rebuild, so I don't think that says much.
Christian Wood, he's actually been doing decent. Like, he's having a good season.
I like him. I like him. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on 2K and I'm gonna put all my realistic rebuilds in there and see how they fare. I think they do all right, bro. I had some decent teams. I'm telling you, bro. I had some decent teams. I had shooters. I had passers. I had people that play defense, rebound.
Kevin Taylor keeps mentioning a player, John Petty from Junior Alabama, a potential shooting guard. Let me see. Saying he looks like another John Starks. I mean,
John Starks started a whole debate at the Knicks at Night podcast. Breezy ain't want to debate. That was funny. Yeah, Andrew doubling up with what we said. Sexton lit up Kyrie. There's some young guards. I want to have a guard on our team that gives me that level of excitement that Sexton is giving Cavs fans. And I think we have that in IQ. It's just Tibbs not giving him enough time.
Yeah. I mean, but we spoke about this like before preseason even started with Tibbs. It's like we have these decent draft picks that we know we're not going to get to see. That's just the coach that Tibbs is. He's not going to play them.
You know what's funny?
What?
Because my tech skills ain't up there. I think we actually we're streaming twice on YouTube.
How?
I don't know, but you know what? Hey, I'll figure it out later.
Let me see. You know, we got to take it one game at a time, but I'm excited to see the Knicks without Peyton.
Samson, that's facts.
Next season, or if we manage to.
Oh man, Chuck pulled up to the chat.
Remember, with Peyton, technically he's on a no trade clause, so we can't trade him without him approving the trade.
Yo, what up, Chuck? Thanks for pulling up to the podcast. Appreciate the support. Yeah, Samson confirmed. You are, by the way, you have 2 streams. You know what? With the way my luck's set up, I cancel one and I cancel all. So I'm gonna just let it rock out. Hey,
how the hell you
happy family? I don't know. I have no clue.
Like what if they commented on the other one and we ain't paying no mind?
They are commenting on the other one. One has, they are like nothing but Knicks commented on the other one, and then we have another one over here.
Oh damn!
See, it's always exciting here at the Knicks State of Mind podcast. You never know what's gonna happen. Technical difficulties, and we still power through. You feel me?
Technical difficulties.
Yo,
King Chuck. So everybody knows this Chuck?
Yeah, Chuck. He's on the Knicks at Night podcast a lot. He's he hates on a lot of the younger players on the team. He picks and chooses who he wants to defend. Some days he'll defend DSJ. The next day he'll defend. Well, does he really defend Frank? I'm not sure, but
I mean, if he wants to, hate on Knox, then I'm here. Like, I'm here for it. I hate Knox. He's nice, but I hate him. Like,
bro, I think they're having a debate tonight at like 11:45. So if you up, pull up.
Oh, I'm not gonna be up. You know me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be up. Well, one day we'll have you go up against Kev over there. Kev loves.
He's a Knox fan?
Knox. Yeah, they call him a Knox over there.
Damn, that's crazy. I don't know what he's gonna have to say about these 2-point, 3-point a game. No.
Bro, you will be surprised. He finds a way. Where there's a will, there's a way, and he finds an excuse.
That's crazy because he's dirt. He's talented. He's dirt.
Yeah, but Kevin's a good dude. I'll tell him you said what's up next time I go over there to bash Knox.
Got to.
Yeah. But
Chuck hates Frank. I mean, Frank. I feel like I haven't seen Frank do nothing in forever. So
Frank hasn't played in forever. What is going on with him?
I don't know.
Still,
he's even on the Knicks. I feel like that was just that whole draft was a wasted draft. And the only reason why I'm not mad that we drafted Frank is because if we didn't draft Frank, we was gonna draft DSJ, and we have them both, and they're both dirt. So, like, we were gonna throw that draft away regardless. So I'm not mad that we have Frank. You know, we were gonna draft wrong. So
that is crazy when you look at it. And honestly, we should have picked. It was Mitchell in that draft, right?
Yeah. Donovan Mitchell was there.
Actually. The consensus was we weren't going to pick DSJ because he didn't want to give us their medical records. So it ended up being between Frank and Mitchell.
No, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
Yo, did you see how how Shaq violated Mitchell in that interview?
Oh yeah, disrespectful. Like that's not like what he did was cool. Like the way he went about it, he basically said, "Yo, so I think you dirt. What you got to say about it?"
Chat, let us know down in the comments.
Like,
did you see that interview between Shaq and Donovan Mitchell, and how did you feel? Because I felt like it was out of line. Like, you know, I haven't really interviewed anybody of stature here on the channel or anything like that, but I still think you could have asked that same question and you could have phrased it in a way that is a lot more respectful to whoever you were talking to. The way he said it, if it was way too confrontational to me.
Yeah, he could have
confrontational.
He could have just been like, you know what? I feel like you're a really talented player, but I'm not sure if you can take it to the next level. Or like, do you feel that you'll be able to take it to the next level to get your team to win it? Like, you know, he could have asked a question about
exactly instead of giving him a statement. I don't think you're this. What do you have to say about
think about my thoughts?
Like, yeah, like first of all, I'd have been like, Shaq, I understand you a champion and all that, but you are retired, so your opinion is from a era of basketball which really is not as relevant to this day and age. You being an inside presence and a dominant force is a great achievement. But honestly, I'm here with my team. We're on a great winning streak, and I really don't want to hear that level of negativity. And you are going to be one of them people I'm here to prove wrong. That's how I would have, because the way Shaq came at him was kind of crazy. And it's not looking good for some of these older, like I'm cool with some of these older players kind of asking hard questions because you get some of the greatest answers when you ask these questions where you kind of push the issue. But Shaq did that was crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, Shaq, he played in a time where you would win a game by scoring 60 points as a team. You would win 60 to 58. That's not the game we play. You think Shaq will be running up and down the court as much as they do now, scoring 140 points a game? I don't think so. I just don't. I feel like the pace is way too fast now for players of his style to keep up, which is probably why Giannis, who's compared to Shaq at all times, isn't faring too well. Like, he's scoring a lot, he's MVP, but he ain't winning nothing, and he's not gonna win nothing.
Yeah, it's funny how these younger players and these older players are starting to beef on social media. It's crazy. It's like when older people get social media and they just gotta, I guess, I don't know, attack some of these younger players. I really don't get the need for it. Like, yeah.
They just mad that they're not in the league anymore, probably. Like, damn, I got nothing to do, son. I'm bored. Let me go volley.
Like, you know what's crazy? I understand when players like Chuck do it, because, you know, Chuck was from an era where a lot of their money was kind of restricted. They weren't able to move. They didn't have the same level of mobility. They didn't have the same contract structures, and they wasn't getting paid as much. So if Chuck won't be salty, you know, I guess I can understand why he's salty. But Shaq out here balling. So why is Shaq taking shots at these players? And I can't think it's just for ratings. We love the inside NBA. So you don't have to do that kind of stuff.
Chuck usually isn't that disrespectful. It's usually Shaq. Like anything.
Chuck ain't. You ever heard Chuck talk about fat women from San Antonio? What you mean Chuck ain't disrespectful?
I'm talking about to the players, like to the He's
Chuck
like,
is
he
out here
doesn't.
beefing with these players. I don't know what you talk about. It might be on site. Some of them see Chuck.
But he's not disrespectful the way Shaq is. Like Shaq's the one who said that thing about Gobert and saying like, oh, you could get 200 million just for scoring 11 points a game. Like, that's disrespectful. but Chuck, he'll say things like, why is Joel Embiid constantly taking threes? You're one of the greatest big men in the league. Post these guys up, and like he'll just say, listen, you're better than this. So whereas Shaq, he's just like, listen, this guy is dark and he's making 200 mil.
Shaq than the fool.
Exactly.
Who was he bullying again? His parents had to respond or something? Was it McGee? He was bullying somebody, and the organization had to step in. I think it was JaVale McGee. That's wild. You get cyber bullied.
He was constantly on Shaq and the fool. He's Shaq and the fool. He's Shaq and the fool. Yo.
Charles said Malik Beasley is having a hell of a year for dating loss of Pippen. That's what he just said. Yeah, Samson said McGee and the moms got involved. That's wild. Like if you're an NBA player and your mom got to talk to an analyst, like leave my son alone.
No, yeah, that's crazy. He's a grown ass man.
Yeah,
I mean, Malik Beasley is having a good season.
Yeah, man. You get you a cougar, she teach you how to. You know what's crazy? I was watching Vlad TV and what's his name that played for the Pistons, Sally or whatever his name. He was on there. He was talking about, loss of Pippen gonna get Malik right. He's gonna tell him how to live his life as an NBA player and how to get things on track. So that's why Sally was like, yeah, you need to get you an older woman when you're a young NBA player. It's going to teach you the do's and the don'ts. I was like, okay, so you say, you've been living it. I don't know.
She probably got him watching Scottie Pippen's old tapes. Like, like, listen, man, I'm trying to help you in all assets. Yo, son. Oh, man.
Oh, man. The NBA has been an interesting year so far. I'm kind of concerned about the team playing through the Rona because they're suspending games left and right. Where we going to have time to make them up?
I was wondering that because I feel like there's certain teams that just hasn't played in a while, like the Wizards,
bro. I got Rui and I got Avdija on my fantasy league, and I need them to play.
So you tight.
OD tight, bro. And Rui killing. Danny ain't been doing all that, but Rui is out here killing.
Well, yeah, Celtics also missed a few.
Yeah, so I'm like, damn, that's some nonsense. Not let these dudes play, but at least give some reprieve to the fantasy owners out here.
Yeah, I feel like once we get back to playoffs, it's going to be another bubble situation.
The reason I think financially they can't do a bubble because I think it costs $150 million to set up that bubble over in Disney, and that was including how many teams did they bring over there? 12, 14?
No, they brought a lot, but that was because of the play-in tourney and all that stuff. But this time, if they strictly do the 8 and 8.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry, they brought in 22 teams. My math is off. I think they brought in like 22 teams. And the rest had to stay at home. So to do that with 30 teams is going to be more expensive. And you got to remember, in the playoffs, these players aren't getting really game checks. It's more like the playoff pot. So you're going to have that $150 million expense of the bubble. And then you're going to have to start playing these players their game checks as well. And I don't think it's going to be financially feasible for the NBA. So a bubble scenario could work when it comes to the playoffs again. But I don't know what we're going to do if these players continue to have to sit out this many games.
No, I said I think when the playoff time comes, they're going to have to go back to the bubble.
But we got a long time between then and now.
I mean, well, yeah, but they'll probably just, shorten the season even more or something if they can't. You know what's crazy, though? The fact that the Knicks haven't missed a game with COVID yet.
Bro,
New York
fingers crossed, bro.
COVID rate. Things crossed,
yeah. But I think we kind of taped. Well, it's kind of getting crazy because my workouts is getting wild now. They got me out there. It's bubbling back up, but
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think us as fans, we should kind of give an applaud to our players because it shows that they're doing what they have to do outside of the games to not contract, whatever's going around. So I give them a round of applause. They're not getting into these situations. Say it again.
And I think it's partially to do because they know that they're doing good. Like they know, like, yo, this is a good season for us. Like, let's not mess this up.
Exactly, like, bro.
We can't do. We got the playoffs right there. Come on, like.
And I think you touched on it. That what you said right there is just proof that the Knicks are actually finally building a winning culture. Because you have to be inside of a winning culture, or inside of a organization that has big aspirations in order to commit and to buy into the team and to make these kind of sacrifices. Because let's be honest, there's a bunch of sacrifices that you have to make in order to ensure that you aren't out there getting caught up in this, scenario. So to see them, it appears like, I don't know what they're doing in their real life, but it appears like they're doing what they have to do to be safe. And for them doing that, we're getting to see some good, great Knicks basketball. So big up to them for that.
Let's go Knicks.
I low-key have like I don't think that worked. I got some sounds on this thing, but I don't know how to use them. I got to figure that out. I got like a clapping thing, but I really don't know how to use it. Can you hear it if I do it?
Yeah.
Oh, what it sound like? Is it clapping?
No, it was like. I
don't think that's me. You hear that?
That's you.
You hear that?
No, I hear that.
All right, so that's not me. Quit lying.
I heard that noise, though.
But yeah, what do you think about the Knicks actually building a winning culture?
I think
we're taking the steps.
I think it's about damn time. Finally, like we are seeing the fruits of our labor. We are seeing hope. Because even if we miss the playoffs this season, I feel confident enough to say that next season we're guaranteed to make the playoffs. Just because we're going to be a year older, a year better. Our players are going to be used to the NBA, mainly like quickly.
Is that a hot take, Nick? Is that a hot take, If?
You heard it here first, folks. No, yeah, I feel like we're shooing next season for the playoffs. Like our core will be at the point where, all right, like we know what we're doing. We're playing together. We've played together for like 3-4 years at this point. Like we're good. So
yeah, I would like to see us make the playoffs, and that would be the next step in our development and getting better as a team. It's just a lot of things have to be done between now and then, and there's a lot of moving pieces. We don't know if Julius Randle's going to still be with the team. We don't know if Burks is going to be resigned. Alfred Payton, for a fact, I'm pretty sure he will not be here any longer. And we got to see what we do with those first round picks. So I'm not going to say it's outside the realm of possibility, but I'm going to still need to see more from this regime and this coaching staff to just to think that I'm going to go into next season and expect the team to be a playoff team. I want them to have those kind of goals and aspirations to start the season. I just don't know if we'll be able to get there because I'm not sure what we're going to do next offseason. Because even this offseason, the Knicks kind of went a route that I really wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting Julius Randle to be as big of a focal piece. So that kind of threw me off. So we have to see what direction this team is going to go.
Honestly, I think if Randle continues to play like this, I think he's going to re-sign with the Knicks. He's not going to.
Dang, I don't know if I would like that.
I mean, I don't know either, but we already have our core on contract for next season, which that's what matters. So this season, if it's proved one thing, it's proved that we're clearly growing, like we're clearly getting better. So free agents are actually going to finally want to play for the Knicks because they see the difference. They see that we're clearly a contender now. And I mean, with Julius coming back, listen, like I just feel like he is going to resign, and I feel like the Knicks are going to resign him because look at the season. And if he can repeat what he's doing this season, next season as well, then I'm not mad at it. I just do hope, we get a solid free agent, even if it's in a trade where we have to give up one of the first round picks to get a legitimate player, not like a Lonzo Ball, but like a legitimate, difference maker.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you on that. But just in terms of culture building, Robert Parr is saying it takes time to watch a culture grow the way the organization wants things to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The team, I like what's going on with the team. I like the way that the team looks. We're no longer getting blown out in these second halves. Yeah, there's games where we lose. But, I mean, the team's working well together. And if they continue to blossom, continue to grow, I think next season is going to be it's going to be a big step in this rebuild, in this process. Because next season, I think, is the actual season where we can start putting some expectations. Like I said, I'm not ready to go there just yet. But like you said, it's looking like it's going to be that way. And it just depends on what we do in the offseason.
I mean, like I already gave you the hot take. I'm saying Knicks playoffs next
Which
season.
call it Super Argo just said something funny. DSJ, Frank, and Peyton can hit JFK hard. We need Lonzo or the draft to come through for us next season.
Yes. So I'm actually about to head off this, but before I go, what is your prediction for the Knicks next game versus Trailblazers?
I just hope we don't let Carmelo go off. That's one thing I would not want to see at all is Melo go off. I'm not fond of him. I don't like him too much. So that's a game. It's a West Coast swing, and West Coast swings for the Knicks have always been kind of an Achilles heel for us, I think. So I want us to win that game, but I just don't see how we stop Lillard and McCollum. Like, we can stop one of them. Well, McCollum's out, isn't he? Wait, I think McCollum might be injured. Yeah, okay. So, yeah. All right, I like our chances then. Because we can let Lillard go off, but as long as we stop everybody else, we should be fine. I mean, we saw that against the Magic. Vucevic went off, but we stopped pretty much everybody else, and we were fine.
Yeah, and look at Golden State. Curry went off.
Curry went off.
You still won that game.
Still won, yeah. So we can let Lillard do him. We just can't allow him to get other players involved. If we allow him to get other players involved, then we're going to have some trouble.
Exactly. And that's how Infinite sees it. No, let me stop.
That's going to be your new segment, How Inf sees it.
All right, but I'm going to catch y'all. It's been real.
Yeah, I'm going to sign off too.
Easy. Catch
because the fight's about to come on. Hey, guys in the chat, you guys watching the fight tonight? I know Freezy's having a debate, but I'm going to have the chat. I'm going to have the fight in the background because I can't miss that. I think McGregor going to win. You going to watch the fight, Inf, or no?
No, I don't even know where to see it at.
All right, bro. I'm going to see if I could, if I pay for it, I'm going to get, you have my login, so we'll see if you can watch it.
Yeah. All right, cool.
So once again, this is Quis, host of Sports Vibes TV, joined by Inf. Yeah, hopefully next time we won't have as many technical difficulties and we'll be able to start on time. So thank you for joining. Make sure you hit that like button and also make sure you subscribe. We'll be going live every Saturday and Sunday from 8 when there's no Knicks games. All right. So once again, I'm Quis. That's Inf. This is the Knicks State of Mind podcast, and I'm out.
Catch ya.